Again, good morning. It is my privilege and it is my honor to welcome everyone to the 22nd Annual Veterans Day Assembly at Wellston High School. First things first, we would like to invite our guests from the VA to come up and share some information that they have. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Tina Wolford.
Good morning and thank you. Thank you, service members and veterans, for all that you have sacrificed for our country. It's much appreciated, so thank you. As they said, I'm with the Chillicothe VA, and I'd like to thank the Wellston City Schools for inviting us here today. We have a mobile unit that we started about a little over a year ago. We started in October of 2023 to bring veteran care to Jackson County. It has been quite the success. We are one of the top 10 in the nation for our mobile medical unit services that we bring to veterans in our community. And we do that right here in Wellston, Ohio, so that's huge. What we do at the mobile unit, we can do eligibility, so if you're a veteran and you've never signed up for VA healthcare benefits, I encourage you to do so. We can do that right at the depot. That's where we're at, Mondays and Tuesdays. We have primary care, we do vaccines. We can do veteran ID cards, telehealth appointments. We're trying to bring as much as we can to the community so veterans aren't having to drive to Chillicothe or one of our outlying clinics. So we've got a table out there. If you'd like an application, we can do applications today for enrollment. We've also got a few little free giveaways for our veterans, so please stop by, say hi, and again, thank you.
Thank you, Tina and the VA, for being here with us today. The presentation of colors is a time-honored tradition that symbolizes our national unity, pride, and respect for our flag and all that it represents. Please join us as we pay tribute to our nation, its ideals, and the brave individuals who have dedicated their lives in service to our country by standing together for the posting of colors by members of the American Legion Post 371.
Post colors. Hand salute. Two. All up.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918, the guns of World War I fell silent, as Allied and German representatives had signed the armistice that ended the fighting. In that silence, 16.5 million lay dead. Of them, 116,000 were Americans, with another 204,000 wounded in battle. In 1921, an unknown World War I American soldier was buried in Arlington National Cemetery, beginning this national tradition which has come to honor all of our soldiers.
Veterans Day is a day we support our fellow Americans who have proudly served our country in armed forces. America has survived many battles fought bravely by our men and women in uniform. It is these men and women, past and present, we should remember and thank on this day.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the singing of our national anthem performed by the Wellston High School Symphonic Choir, under the direction of Miss Natalie Davison. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may now be seated. At the front left corner of our assembly seats is a chair in honor of those soldiers we've lost. 16 million Americans left our shores as part of the armed forces in the Second World War. 405,399 never returned. In the Korean War, those lost numbered 36,574. In Vietnam, 58,209. In the Persian Gulf War, 382. And for the combined Afghanistan-Iraq-related operations, that number was 7,064. Please join us for a moment of silence to honor those who didn't get the chance to be with us in person today. Thank you.
Please stand up. Please welcome Officer Yardnichek as he gives the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we come to you with great anticipation and excitement, this ceremonial moment that we've come to both honor you and those that have served in our militaries. Today is a great day. It's a great day because it's the day that you made, because you're the creator of heaven and earth. But today it's also a great day because we pause everything that's going on in our life to show honor. Your word declares to show honor to whom honor is due. Lord, I can't imagine that one family is not represented in this room that has not been touched by the service of our men and women that have served our country. So today, I pray your blessing upon them, whether it be grandparents, grandmas, grandfathers, moms, dads, aunts, uncles, cousins, sons, daughters, whatever the relationship is. Today, our families are better and our families are stronger because they served. So today we're asking for the courage, we're asking for the peace, we're asking for the help, and we're asking for healing upon all of our service members. That today, that you would receive all the praise and all the glory for the lives that you've made and the men and women that have served this great country. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray, and amen.
Students were given the opportunity to participate in a writing contest this past week. This was a chance for students to express in their own words their gratitude, admiration, and respect for our veterans. The winners of this contest will now read their submissions. Jaylee King, freshman.
My veteran's life story. When I hear veteran, I think of my great-grandfather, Chuck King. Chuck was born October 31st, 1948. Chuck joined the Army at the age of 17 years old. His whole reasoning to join the Army was that he wanted to serve his country and that he could make money while doing it. When Chuck joined the Army, he was only making $89 a month. Mr. King left Wellston, Ohio to start his military career by taking a bus to Fort Hays in Columbus, Ohio for 4 days. Chuck then left there and went to Fort Benning for basic training in Georgia. After basic training, he went to Fort Meade in Maryland for advanced training. Chuck then left there on a plane from the White Sands Missile Range, which was a military base in New Mexico, then went to the Vietnam. Chuck then became a truck driver in the Vietnam and was shot. Lastly, Chuck went to Fort Carson, Colorado and stayed there till he was honorably discharged. During his service, he received many medals and commendations, such as the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnam King Medal with 60 devices, 2 Bronze Stars, and a Purple Heart. Upon his return home from the Vietnam, he was not met with cheering crowds and bands, but with people throwing tomatoes and eggs at him and others. So now when a soldier returns home, they say, "Welcome home, brother." When I asked my great-grandfather if he would do it again, he said yes in a heartbeat. Chuck also said that everyone should give it a try at least once. To this day, my great-grandfather, along with many other veterans, suffered from the side effects of the Army use of Agent Orange throughout the Vietnam, which caused many health problems with those who served there. The government stated that the chemicals they put on the plants would not harm them. To this day, my great-grandfather has suffered from 2 heart attacks, throat cancer, and many other health problems due to Agent Orange. Chuck doesn't look at America differently though. He looks at the government differently because of how they lied to him and many other veterans that has served in the Vietnam War. So now, when I see the American flag, the red, white, and blue, it's not only about our freedom, it represents my great-grandfather and the men and women that have fought to protect it.
Rylan Pelletier, sophomore.
Veterans Day is not just any other day. Veterans Day is about honoring those who fought for freedom we have today. A lot of us wouldn't be sitting here today making our plans to go hang out with friends at the park if it weren't for these brave people who stand before us. Veterans Day is an honorable day that I look forward to because I get to thank those who have fought for me to be able to do the things I can do in my generation. These brave men and women have sacrificed their whole lives to give each and every one of us our freedoms and abilities. There is not a single way we can ever give these amazing people enough credit for the things that they have sacrificed for our country, but there is always room for appreciation and love. I hope that as we get older and take our lives to the next steps, we realize that we need to appreciate what we have in life because without these people, we wouldn't have the freedom and abilities we have today. Thank you.
Cameron Taylor, Jr.
V. Veterans Day is an important day because it helps us take time from our lives to honor those who fought for us. E. Everyone should celebrate Veterans Day because they risked their lives for the protection of our freedoms and laws. T. They chose to fight for the wellness of our country. E. Every time they go out, they fight for us and they risk their lives. R. Reality would not be the same if it weren't for these heroes. A. All of you should thank a veteran today for their time serving our country and protecting our freedoms. N. Nobody would have the freedoms today if it weren't for our veterans. Thank you.
Carter Witt, Sr.
To me, Veterans Day means a bit more than just an assembly here at school. The real meaning of Veterans Day is to truly honor the brave men and women who voluntarily put their life up for ransom to protect, serve, improve, and represent the greatest country ever, the United States. Without our veterans, the flag we see here today wouldn't represent freedom. In fact, there's no promise the flag would even be hanging. It is thanks to the veterans we see here today, and also to the ones we don't, who have fought in many wars, battles, completed rescue missions, and endured intense training to be properly fit to serve, that we the people have the rights that we do today. We proudly celebrate this special day to show our gratitude to each and every veteran that has ever served. While I stand behind the courageous men and women we have to fight for America today, I say thank you and happy Veterans Day.
Now please welcome Sharon Nichols on behalf of the American Legion Post 371's Ladies Auxiliary, who will announce the 2024 Americanism winners. Please hold your applause till the end.
Thank you, Logan. I'd first of all like to invite Samantha Beatty out to accept a certificate from us. We want to thank the Wellston High School and all the teachers for participating in our program, and I'd like to offer you that certificate of participation. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, she deserves applause. As announced, my name is Sharon Nichols. I am the president of our auxiliary. I'd like to introduce Donna Smith, who is our historian. And we'd like to thank all the students for all their hard work that they did, and know that by knowing more about your country, you will grow to be a stronger individual and help your community and yourself much more than if not. So let's go ahead and announce our winners. We're going to start with our sophomore class. Would Haven Elkins please come up? And our 10th grade girl is Bailey Myers. Braylee? How about if I just announce them all at one time and you guys come up and we'll give you your certificates. Come on up. Our juniors is John McCowan and Maritza Diaz. Our seniors is Carter Witt and Emma Davis. And you'll have to tell me your names when you get up here so I can give you the right certificate. Carter?
Carter Wills?
Huh? Carter Wills? Thank you, Carter, for your participation. Okay.
Haven?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Haven. Appreciate it.
Bailey Myers.
Bailey? Braylee. 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 There you go, dear. Thank you so much. Maritza. How do you pronounce your first name?
You said it right.
Did it? Okay, good. Thank you very much, honey. John? John? Thank you. And of course, Emma. Thank you, Emma. And we want to thank everybody, and we'd like to invite our veterans to the Wellston American Legion Post 371 after the ceremony is over. And thank you very much.
At this time, we would like to ask all veterans in attendance to introduce themselves, their branch of military, and their years of service. Please hold your applause until the end.
Sergeant Jerry Geary, 1968-69,
Army, 101st Airborne Division.
Specialist Paul Davis, United States Army, 1988 to 1996.
Sergeant Robert Johnson, United States Marine Corps, 8 years, 2006 to 2014.
PFC Young. I'm in the Ohio Army National Guard.
I'm Shamira Sparks. I'm in the United States Navy.
Kenneth Thompson, United States Marine Corps, 1972 to 73. 5 years.
Tiffany Murphy, United States Army, 2008 to 2010, 82nd Airborne.
Mike Weigel, 1972, 1976, 82nd Airborne and 2nd Infantry Division, Korea.
Petty Officer Snyder, 1989 to 1993, U.S. Navy Seabees.
I'm a second class Salvage Gangs, 1960-61.
Specialist Stephen Johnston, I was in 03 to 06, 10th Mountain Division.
Sergeant Bruce Conley, United States Air Force, 1968, 1972.
Lieutenant Andrew Holzapfel, U.S. Army, 1971 through 73.
Brian Brown, United States Navy, 1995 to 1999.
Lieutenant Colonel John Hendershot, pilot, U.S. Air Force, 22 years.
Specialist Ryan Gillespie, United States, Ohio Army National Guard, 2004 to 2011.
Courtney Shea, I'm Sarah Shea's mom and Thomas Shea's mom. I'm in the United States Army from 1999 to 2005.
Staff Sergeant Thomas Shea, Army, 1996 to 2014.
If there are any more veterans in the stand, please stand now so we can get to you.
Go get them first. You can finish with those.
Blaine Gold, United States Army, 65, 66, and 67.
Chris Graham, United States Navy, 92 to 96.
She's running. Yeah. Reached over there. You want me just to be loud and do mine? Okay. I'm loud. Yeah, just, well, let her hold it out here. Oh. There she is. She's getting steps.
Sergeant First Class Tad Locker, 1989 to 2016, Army.
Denny Trace, United States Army Reserve, 1986 to 1994.
First Sergeant Robert Allen, 21 years, 1979 to 2000, 18th Airborne Corps.
Wayne Fountain, United States Navy, Petty Officer, 3rd Class, 1981 to 1987.
Are there any other veterans who would like to introduce themselves? Okay.
Sergeant John Stabler, United States Army, 1992 to 1997.
Ron Johnson, United States Marine Corps, 81 to 85.
Recent Wellston graduates who are current service members were asked to share their experiences and inspiration for service. Please direct your attention to the video player in the back of your gymnasium.
Everyone, I'm Braden Childers. I graduated in 2022, and I'm a Petty Officer 3rd Class in the United States Navy. I'm currently doing nuclear weapons security in Silverdale, Washington, and I just want to wish everybody a happy Veterans Day.
Hi guys, my name is Chloe Thacker. I am a 2017 graduate of Wellston High School. I joined the military, the Army branch, before I was 18 in 2017, and I served for almost 7 years, and I got out just recently. I was a military police and canine trainer, and I also was a bit of transportation as I'm now out. I have a message for all the students that currently go to Wellston High School. Keep dreaming, dream big, and go hard.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Schaefer. I graduated from Wellston High School in 2019. I'm a staff sergeant in the Ohio Air National Guard. And if anyone is interested in joining, please reach out to Mr. Brace and he can give you my contact information and we can talk from there. On top of that, I know it's Veterans Day, so anyone who has a family member that has served or is currently serving, happy Veterans Day. Wish them the best because it's not always easy, right? We do it not just for one reason. There's many reasons that multiple members serve, but we all wear the uniform and we're all in this together. So we appreciate your support, and we're one day closer to Thanksgiving break. So really soak that in and have a great year.
Aiden Graham here, class of 2022, currently serving in the Army in the 82nd Airborne Division. I chose to join the Army because I wanted to better myself both physically and mentally, and also protect the great freedoms we have here in America. My day-to-day routine usually starts off at about 5 a.m. or even earlier some days. You can't predict this place. It's whatever they have laid out for us. One day I can be jumping out of a plane. The other day putting rounds downrange, maneuvering on a target. It just keeps you on your toes, and that's why I like the Army so much. You know, it's unpredictable. It's not like any other job. And then lessons I've learned in the Army, you know, just be coachable. You're gonna get yelled at a lot. This just goes in general for life. You know, when someone's criticizing you, just take that criticism and be better from it. And then pushing through the hard stuff because it all comes to an end. So just know this too shall end. If you're going through a hard time or a rough patch, something like that, it's always gonna end. And just keep trucking along. So that's it. That's all I have. Aiden Graham, class of 2022, signing off. You all have a good day.
Good afternoon. My name is Dominic Schauer, and I am a graduate of the class of 2022. I enlisted in the United States Navy that same year as a fire controlman, or FC for short. The Navy has given me many opportunities to do things that some people may not even get to do, only dreams. For example, I've been to Japan, I've been to the Philippines, I've even been to Singapore for that matter. I've also met a multitude of very different people, very, very different backgrounds. So, with that being said, any student that's questioning joining, I will keep it real. There will be challenges. It's not always going to be great. However, it's going to give you a lifetime full of experiences that you will never regret doing. With that, I would also like to thank the entire staff of Wellston. They care about their students as if they were their own, and always point in the right direction, even if the student doesn't necessarily want it. With that, I would also like to thank veterans, the ones that have served or are currently serving, including the ones that didn't get to make it. But I want all of you guys to enjoy your Veterans Day and thank the ones that made it possible to be able to enjoy this day. Bye, everyone.
At this time, the Wellston High School Band will perform God Bless America under the direction of Miss Katie King. Stabler. John Stabler graduated from Wellston High School in 1987. He joined the U.S. Army after graduating from Capital University. He served as a mechanized vehicle driver, unit armorer, and operations sergeant. After service, Mr. Stabler earned an associate's in law enforcement technology from Hopkins College and began a 26-year career in law enforcement, serving in Wellston and Ohio University. He has been active in scouting since 1975, where he earned his Eagle Scout Award in 1987. He was the co-owner of Mama's Pizza, served on Wellston City's Council as mayor from 2000 to 2003, and a substitute for the Wellston City Schools in 2003, 2022, and 2023. Currently, John serves the community as the historian for the Wellston Legion Post 371, the American Legion District 8 chaplain, a board member of the Jackson County Airport Authority, and an alternate for the Jackson County Board of Tourism. Everyone, please welcome Mr. John Stabler.
All right, Matt said that I had to keep this short, so we said under 5,000 words, so I think we should be out of here in about an hour or so. Okay, maybe not. All right, that didn't go as well as I thought it would go. Okay. But no, thank you very much for this invitation. I am greatly honored to have been asked to speak today. And my routine to get to the military service was a little bit different from what a lot of folks did. I went to college first, but then after being in college, I realized I needed to get my head put on straight, and I needed somebody to help me out a little bit. So I went to the Army and had them help me out, and came back, and I really wanted to serve this community. Because for me, patriotism was something that is very important for all of us. So I felt that I had that need to serve. The United States has had a lot. We've done a lot. We've done many things. And some of it's good, some of it's bad, and some of it's really kind of ugly. And one of the things is we have to understand that the life that we have today, the freedoms that we have today, is because of everything that has happened, and we have to continue to learn from that. Our form of government was created by some learned men that had learned a lot from what had gone before them. They had gone back to the Greeks, back to the Romans, and they had learned what was important, what things worked, what things didn't. And they said, we can do better than what we've had, and they wanted to make sure that they had those freedoms. The United States Constitution was the first permanent constitution of its kind that has influenced so many others around the world because our freedoms are unique to what many had before that. It was ratified June 21st of 1788 after the first 9 of our original colonies signed. It went into effect that next March. But with that, the United States Constitution realized that things had not been perfect. We needed to fix some things. It's been amended 27 times. Now, the first 10 of those were at what? Can anyone tell me? Any of our... Go ahead. Our Bill of Rights, fantastic. We realized that even though we had a document that was phenomenal, we needed to tweak it a little bit. So we have to make sure that we look at things. We have to look at the world that we have, the life that we have, and work from that. And one of the other things that we have to look at is we aren't a democracy. So many folks, oh, we're the best democracy in the world. No, we are a constitutional republic. In the days that we are in today, a lot of folks don't realize the difference there. We don't vote directly for a lot of things except for on that local and that state issue levels. But even with a lot of those state things, we are voting for somebody to go vote for us, to go speak for us, and to help promote the freedoms that we have. So one of the things that we need to make sure is that we understand that our original founders knew that democracies tended to implode because people would end up either doing things that weren't beneficial to them or would vote themselves so many things that they ended up falling apart because they weren't able to take care of things because it quashed the initiative of the many men and women that started this country and that continue to grow this country. With the rise of the influence of the United States, we had people that flocked here from all over the world. We were that beacon for people to come to because we had freedom. We had the ability to grow and to go do things. We didn't have to wait for some king to give us the ability, you can have this little plot of land. You could go, you could grow, you could become whoever you wanted to be. We had folks who had been peasants who hadn't been allowed to learn anything that were able to come to the United States and become multimillionaires in today's day and age. So we have to realize that we don't want to quash the initiative that we have. I am blessed to be the son of an immigrant. Many of your parents or grandparents probably know her. Some of you may have been kissed by her walking through her line in Walmart. But my mother worked really hard to earn her citizenship. She was very feisty, is probably a word that would be polite to talk about. You didn't want to cross words with her because she realized that we have to do better. We have to be better. She pushed my brother and I to do the same, and she was like that with everybody else. If you were doing something that wasn't really the brightest thing to do, she wasn't shy about making sure that she let you know that. There's a few folks that are smirking because they were on the end of those comments from her. But one of the things that she talked to me about is a phrase that has been given to different folks. Some say Churchill, but when you go back into research, it actually went to George Santayana in 1905. He wrote a book about the phases of human progress, and he said this: progress, far from consisting in change, depends on the retentiveness. When change is absolute, there remains no being to improve, and no direction is set for possible improvement. And when experience is not retained, as among savages, infancy is perpetual. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. So I want all of you to realize that history may not be your favorite subject. I like math, I like history, English, I messed up a little bit, but history should be vital to you. You need to make sure that you understand what that was all about. We have to remember that good, that bad, and even the ugly. Sometimes we don't want to talk about it because, oh, that's not nice. The world isn't nice around us. There are folks that hate us just because we are allowed to gather here together and to be able to talk to one another and to be able to talk about ideas that may be radical to others. So we need to make sure that we can embrace that. Can I get our veterans to do this for me real quick? Can you stand up one more time? I know you've stood up a lot tonight, but can you stand up one more time for me? The men and women that are here today, all the other veterans that are in our community, in our state, and in our country, and some of those that are still around the world because they've ended up staying where they were, it is because these men and women that you have so much today. Thank them whenever you come. Veterans Day is once a year. But although Veterans Day it only comes once a year, everything that you have is on their shoulders. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand. Many of these men and women with their own blood, sweat, and sometimes even tears have done things that people were like, I don't think that this is great. Why are we doing this? Why are we here? But then you get to talk to the people that were in these places. One of the places I got to go, I was in the infantry, and we got to go to Macedonia. We were with a UN contingent, Task Force 215, and we were on the border between Macedonia and Serbia. The country, when you looked at it, was almost barren of trees. Most of the trees that were there were anywhere between 10 and 12 years old because that's when the Soviets left. We had folks that lived in the shell of a house with no roof, with their livestock with them, because that's all that they had. But they were grateful that we were there to be willing to help them to overcome what they had to deal with for all those years. So these folks that had almost nothing were willing to come and bring us food and bring us drinks and things of that nature. And we're like, oh no, it's okay, we're good. But it was one of those things you didn't want to refuse that because to them it was the utmost respect that they could show us in thanking us. I got to go to an East-West training thing. It was Operation Cooperative Determination. We had folks, we had Russians there. We had folks from the former Eastern Bloc. We had other NATO allies that were there, and we were talking about things and doing things. The Romanians that were there followed us down the street cheering for us because we were the ones that freed them from the Nazis. They remembered that to that day, all those years later. So there were things that we've made mistakes in, but we've done so much better. So one of those things, some of the things that are good and bad. With that, in our nation, we have had folks where we have had slavery in this nation, but we've had folks from the very inception of this nation that fought against it. We had women that weren't allowed to vote in many states up until just a few decades ago. But we had states that that were doing that from the very beginning. We had Confederate generals, but they abhorred slavery. So we know that there's those things that are there. So we want you to understand those things. Now, as I get ready to close, I want to make a challenge to all of you. I want each of you to go to Ridgewood or to one of our surrounding cemeteries. Go take a walk, ride your bike, drive the car through it. I want you to look at each and every one of those flags that is in that cemetery. Those flags represent a person who went to defend our nation, to defend our freedoms. And then you start to realize that some of these gravestones don't have just one flag. Some of them have 2, 3, and there's one that actually has 4 flags at their site. So think about this. Over and over again, these men and women were willing to go and do what they had to do to protect you and to give you this freedom that you enjoy today. So I want all of you to also do this. Think about paying it forward, whether or not you can serve or not. Hopefully, we have several of you that go on to serve because we need good men and women that are willing to stand up for freedom. Some of you may not be able to serve. I have a friend who went to basic training and realized that he had a heart condition that hadn't been found before that, so he had to leave during basic training and wasn't able to serve and was disappointed because he couldn't serve his country. There's always other ways to serve, so think about that. Now, one thing to think about is this Monday, this Veterans Day, from noon to 6, the American Legion is going to have an open house. Come down, see what we do, learn about the programs we have. Ask about, I know Buckeye Girls State. Maybe at some point we'll bring back Buckeye Boys State. We've got things that we need to do so that we can continue to help this country. But the one last thing I want to say is I want to thank you again very much for allowing me to be here, allowing me to blather about why I think this nation is great, because I'm a 1987 graduate of Wellston High School. I'm a proud American and a proud Golden Rocket. Thank you.
At this time, the Wellston Combined Choirs will perform Thank You Soldiers under the direction of Mrs. Natalie Davidson.
Mr. Ronald Johnson graduated from Marietta High School in 1981 and joined the Marine Corps at 17 years old. Mr. Ronald Johnson graduated from Marietta High School in 1981 and joined the Marine Corps at 17 years old. His military occupational specialty was ground radio repair, and he graduated at the top of his class. After radio school, he was stationed at Hawaii, where he worked on communicational gear, including radio system, phone multiplexing units, and chirographic gear. As the 1st Battalion, 3rd Marine, he was deployed to Okinawa, Japan, and participated in training in the Philippines. He was honorably discharged in 1985, achieving the rank of corporal. After his service, he met his wife while attending Rio Grande. He earned an associate's degree in electronics and technology. Since 2004, he served as the technology coordinator for Oak Hill. He is currently working on a master's degree in cybersecurity. Please welcome Mr. Ronald Johnson.
About 5 seconds from now, you're going to realize I'm not a public speaker. Both my father and grandfather served in the Navy, so I come from a line of people who served. My grandfather served during World War II. My father was lucky enough not to see combat. I was also lucky enough to never see combat. We have combat veterans down here that, because of their service, I'm free, okay? And I respect that, and I feel unqualified up here to talk, but here we go. Main thing I wanted to talk about or reflect on was service. So if you keep hearing the word service, because that's what they do. They're generally servants. They served the United States. They made sacrifices so that we all could be free. Mr. Stabler talked a lot about the freedoms of the ones that came before us and these ones here. Sorry. Veterans are more than just individuals who have worn a uniform. They are servants who have dedicated themselves to the greater good of their country. They have put their lives on hold and on the line to protect the freedoms and safety of sometimes what we take for granted. Serving the military is not just about duty, it's about sacrifice and commitment. Veterans have faced challenges, endured hardships, and shown resilience in the face of adversity. They serve not for recognition or reward, but out of a deep sense of duty and patriotism. And I think you'll find that every veteran has a strong sense of patriotism in there. For those who've seen combat, the level of sacrifice and challenges faced are profound. Their bravery and dedication ensure the freedoms we enjoy today. And basically, as you guys sit here today, I just want you to remember the freedoms, or excuse me, the opportunities, just thank the countless men and women who have fought before us, whether they actually fought or just served, and just honor the service by understanding and appreciating the value of their sacrifice. Thank you.
The melody we know known as TAPS, was used during the Civil War as a call for lights out. As the story goes, General Butterfield of the Union Army was not pleased for the call for lights out, feeling that the call was too formal to signify the day's end. He and a bugler, Oliver Wilcox Norton, wrote taps to honor his men while in camp at Harrison's Landing, Virginia. Following the 7 days battle, the call sounded one night in July 1862 and soon spread through both the Union and Confederate armies.
A bugler plays taps every evening at Arlington National Cemetery to signify the end of the day and as a tribute to those who've died for their country. No formal protocol accompanies the sounding of taps at dusk, but when it's played at military funerals and memorial services, members of the military salute from the first note to the last. Civilians may place their right hand on their heart, though it is not required.
Please stand for the retiring of the colors. Following the retiring of the colors, taps will be played by Kind Barney.
And salute. 2. Retrieve colors. Face. Word. Mark.
On behalf of the Wellston High School, we would like to thank everyone for attending the 2024 Veterans Day Assembly. We appreciate your cooperation in making our 22nd annual Veterans Day Assembly a success. In particular, we would like to again thank all of the veterans here for your service and allowing for us to meet with you today. At this time, I'd like to ask all Americanism test winners to make your way to the stage for some pictures. And then all WHS students, please report back to your third period class to retrieve your belongings. Thank you.